He's been on the run for 7 years, and despite spending millions of dollars looking for him, the police admit there's no sign of a breakthrough. Malcolm Naden is a fugitive and alleged murderer and on the nation's most wanted list. This week, New South Wales Police issued a renewed warning to residents in the Gloucester area in the north of the state after the theft of a rifle from a local farmhouse. The police believe Naden, now armed, is still in the area. Tracy Bowden reports.
The high country of the New South Wales Northern Tablelands, a remote region with dense bush and rugged terrain. This is where fugitive Malcolm Naden is playing a game of cat and mouse with police strike force Durkin.
He's a very extremely dangerous, wanted man, and we want to catch him and bring him into our custody.
A crack team of 50, including the Police Tactical Operations Unit, is based in Gloucester, monitoring reported sightings and combing the surrounding area.
He's one who doesn't need human interaction. He's a bit of a loner, and that's why one of the reasons why he's so successful in camping out in these remote locations. He does have some good bush skills because he's obviously been camping out for about 6 years, but he does go into houses, steal food, steal supplies that he's needed for his own comfort whilst he's camping out in the bush.
Bushland around the town of Naden, population 150, has been a focus of the search. Lynn Henderson and her mother Heather Stackman run the local motel. It's an isolated spot, but they say they're not nervous.
No. I told the police, I said, if he comes, we'll give him a cup of tea and we'll even give him the keys of the new car, because that's what you do at a bank robbery. You don't hassle him, do you?
You know, you just give him whatever he wanted and let him go. Because I think if you sort of, like most people that are cornered, if you corner him, he's going to retaliate. So don't put him in that position in the first place.
You know the country around here really well. How difficult a task do you think the police have finding him?
Almost impossible. It's just thousands and thousands of acres of scrub and bushland. He's had 7 years to suss everything out and find all his hideouts and find out where people go and people don't go, and there's lots of forestry huts, there's lots of caves.
Malcolm Naden has been on the run since 2005. The hunt began in Dubbo in central New South Wales, where he's wanted over the murder of one woman, the disappearance of another, and the sexual assault of a teenage girl. Since then, police have evidence he's been in Scone, Kempsey and Walker. It's believed he's now hiding out around Gloucester and Naden to the north. This week, police issued a warning to locals. Naden is now armed with a semi-automatic rifle stolen from a farmhouse.
People are starting to get a bit nervous. I mean, like myself personally, I work night shift, and when you're leaving your wife at home by himself, and a lot of blokes down there, down at work, you know, got young families, leaving their wife and their young children at home, and especially when you hear that he has got close, it gets a bit worrying there.
Gloucester residents Mark Bryan and Dennis Wisemantle say that while they'd like to see Malcolm Naden caught, they're not convinced the police are going about it the right way.
A bit too much as far as I'm concerned. I mean, all these helicopters and everything, I mean, he's hiding during the day. That's what general people think. He's travelling at night time, so these helicopters are a waste of time, waste of taxpayers' money.
Obviously Malcolm's out there somewhere. I don't know whether he's still in the area, whether he's not in the area, but with all the police presence in town, if I was Malcolm, I wouldn't be here. I would have moved on or found somewhere else to hide or...
You know, they reckon that these police dogs can't get a scent because he's gone feral. He hasn't got that human scent anymore, so I don't know. They're wasting their time.
Everyone you speak to around here can tell you the latest stories and rumours about Malcolm Naden. Some even report sightings. A woman we spoke to this afternoon says a friend of hers saw Malcolm Naden just a couple of days ago dragging a dead kangaroo off the road.
It's become a joke, I think. People are laughing about it.
Ellie Fraser runs 2 B&Bs in the region. She has strong views about the resources being poured into the manhunt.
I know that they're spending an awful lot of money and that the road that we have to drive on to get out to our property looks like a disused fire trail, I think maybe it'd be better to spend the money on the roads in this area than on Malcolm. And why didn't they have their operations that they're having now 4 years ago or 5 years ago when it happened? Why have they waited all this time and then all of a sudden decided to go after him? Why is that?
So how much have you spent? I've seen one report, $3 million.
Well, I'm not going into the exact details of the money because it's really an issue about the community safety. The difficulty is if we don't mount the search, we don't continue on, to leave Malcolm Naden out there in the community is a risk we don't want to pay for. So at the moment we've got our operational strategies. We believe we know the broad area that he's in and we'll continue searching.
The strike force is based in the industrial area on the outskirts of town. And the manhunt has certainly boosted business. Thanks to the police, media and curious tourists, the local motel is booked out and cafes and pubs are doing a roaring trade. As it happens, this area has historic links to another elusive fugitive. The main road along here is called Thunderbolt's Way, named after the infamous bushranger Captain Thunderbolt, or Frederick Wordsworth Ward. He was on the run from police for more than 6.5 years before being shot dead back in 1870.
We are hot on his tail, but at the end of the day, you need everything going for you, not just a few things.
Back in December, the police were confident they had their man. But things didn't go to plan. A police officer suffered a gunshot wound and their prey once again slipped away into the bush.
In response to a request from the Police Commissioner, we have agreed to increase the reward to $250,000.
There was another sighting just 2 weeks later.
It's disappointing. The police are all disappointed that we were so close and didn't catch him.
Is it getting embarrassing though? All these officers, all this time, all this money and no result?
No, it's not embarrassing. If people were to drive up into this area, they'd realise how remote and how difficult it was. The officers, as I say, still motivated and encouraged, and they're the ones going out every day, optimistic that we'll locate him.
As for the people who live here, they'd like to see an end to it all. But in the meantime, they're making the most of the situation. And like local butcher Darryl Wisemantle, they're maintaining their sense of humour.
Well, Malcolm did ring up the butcher shop at Christmas and order a ham. Asked me could I drop it off at Now Doc. Because he'd heard the hams are really good.
It's been really good for business as far as that goes.
So you've had full house?
Oh, yeah, for over a month we had full house. Yeah.
It's been great.
The workload was tremendous, but it's been good.
Jokes aside, the police insist Malcolm Naden is a dangerous man. How long can you keep this going?
Well, that's a difficult question, and I haven't got the answer to that. Whilst we are confident that he's still in this area, and whilst he's still an extreme risk, we'll be continuing on with the strike force.